The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season left a mark on the southeastern United States that will take years to recover from. 18 named storms, 11 hurricanes, 5 Gulf Coast landfalls. An above-average year was all but a certainty, with record-setting ocean warmth and the eventual return of La Nina.
Of note, forecast for named storms, hurricanes, and major hurricanes is the highest NOAA has ever issued for the named outlet.
Tropical storms Alberto and Chris quickly formed and fizzled into the Gulf Coast of Mexico, but Beryl had bigger plans. Hurricane Beryl became the first ever Category 4 in the month of June, and the Atlantic's earliest Category 5 on record. After heavily damaging the Caribbean islands and the Yucatan, Beryl weakened before making landfall in Matagorda, Texas as a Category 1 on July 8th.
So you can hear Hurricane Beryl still having a big impact here. And this is the biggest one, flash flooding. This is 288. There's a lot of water on this interstate and throughout the city.
WeatherNation was there as localized rainfall amounts topped 15 inches. At the height of the storm, 2.7 million customers in Texas were without power. The remnants of Beryl broke records for the most tornado warnings issued in a day for multiple NWS offices across the country, including Shreveport and Lake Charles, Louisiana, and as far north as Buffalo, New York. In all, Beryl did at least $7.2 billion in damage in the U.S. and is attributed to 45 fatalities. After a quiet July, Category 1 Hurricane Debby made landfall in the Big Bend of Florida in August, bringing flooding rain to the state's nature coast. Parts of Manatee and Sarasota County measured 20 inches of rainfall. Totals went on to be even higher farther north as Debby extended to Georgia and made a second landfall in Bulls Bay, South Carolina. As Debby crawled its way north, tornado reports went on for 4 straight days, from South Carolina to Pennsylvania. Hurricane Ernesto rounded out August, bringing destructive flooding to Puerto Rico, before Francine became the third hurricane of 2024 to make landfall in the U.S., coming ashore in Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana, as a Category 2 on September 11th. Close to a foot of rain fell in the greater New Orleans area. Potential tropical cyclone H spun up soon after, with just enough time to bring 20 inches of rainfall and flood to the Carolina coast. But no one was prepared for what came next.
Structures have been destroyed by this surge, and it continues to go higher.
All of a sudden, bam, it just flooded, and this whole place, it felt like we were in the ocean.
Hurricane Helene was not only the strongest hurricane to ever make landfall in Florida's Big Bend, but its torrential rains caused catastrophic damage in 8 states. Hurricane Helene first made landfall 10 miles away from Perry, Florida, as a Category 4 with winds of 140 miles per hour. Cedar Key, Florida witnessed its highest storm surge on record, rising to at least 10 feet.
This is a worst-case scenario for Cedar Key. This is storm surge likely that this community has never seen before, at least in living memory.
Helene's fast movement spread hurricane-force winds and tropical moisture north. Atlanta experienced its first ever flash flood emergency, the first of many in the southeast, as southern Appalachia recorded nearly 3 feet of rain.
The flooding that's happening in parts of East Tennessee and North Carolina are unlike anything anyone has ever seen in those regions.
Most of the mountain communities in western North Carolina were cut off. Floods swept away entire communities, closing over 400 roads and led to countless landslides.
You see it on TV, you see what happens to other people, you're sorry for them, and you think what you'd do if it happened. And I guess I didn't think hard enough.
Less than 2 weeks later, battered and bruised, residents of Florida watched as Milton became a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico. Milton not only rapidly intensified, it dramatically escalated into a Category 5, its central pressure dropping to near record low. As Milton's outer bands started to come ashore,
Get in the house, get in the house.
a tornado outbreak tore through Florida. Hurricane Milton then made landfall on October 9th as a Category 3 near Siesta Key, Florida, with winds of 120 miles per hour. Tropicana Field was supposed to house first responders and power crews, and that all changed when its roof was ripped to shreds.
The last one, Helene, was the first time it's ever been wet, and then this came along. I have no idea how high the water got last night, But see all this stuff floated all over the place. It got pretty high.
As we look back on the 2024 season, we remember the lives lost and those who have lost everything, and those that keep fighting on.
You can't wrap your head around it. You have to just walk to the door and bend over and pick up either the first bucket of mud or the first little memory that you find. And there's little treasures in there.
For WeatherNation, I'm Will Nunley.